A few days ago, a brand new September update was launched into Elite. With it came a rather well done new player experience with some nice new tutorials, and also an ARX store, which for some reason seems to have broken many aspects of Elite. And today we're going to talk about why that is. We all strive for the best possible gaming experience, but the importance of a good quality chair is often underestimated. SerectLab produces some of the most comfortable and high quality gaming chairs you can get, so upgrade your Commander chair today and fly in style and comfort worthy of the Imperial Cutter. Follow the link in the video description to their store, type in your height, your weight, and it will tell you which chairs fit you for the best possible seating experience. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous with downtoearthastronomy. So I want to talk to you about ARX and the ARX store. Now, it's probably gone unnoticed by a few that after the ARX store was introduced, a lot of aspects of Elite was broken, including mining. When you had collectors returning, then suddenly you would crash. Some engineering seemed to have been broken. There's been some issues with modules. There's been various aspects all around Elite that are suddenly not working. Think that was working before, that seems to be completely unrelated to the ARX store. And why is that? Now, I should say that the stuff we're going to talk about in this video is my own theory and my own opinions, so take it for what it is. I would love to hear if you think I'm right or wrong, or your own opinions in the comment section, so share them down there. So what I think it is, in its core, all comes down to one poor design condition in the way that we as players collect our free ARX through normal gameplay. Now, at first I thought you would collect them based on time, so the more time you spend in game, you would gain some ARX per minute. That seems to not be the case. They seem to have gone with an approach where the amount of ARX you get for gameplay is transaction based. That means it's based on what you do, the actions you take in Elite. On the surface, that might seem like an okay plan, so you couldn't just sit idle in a station. Now, there are ways around the idling part, but it would force the players into actively playing the game in order to be able to collect these ARX. Now, the way I think it works, and again, this is just how I think it works, is that they have some kind of hidden counter behind the scene that like counts up, and whenever you do something, that could be sell something to the station, buy a module from the station, engineer a module, buy a ship, maybe collect a fragment while mining, kill an NPC, maybe jump to a new system, scan a planet, anything along those lines. Whenever you take any of those actions, you collect some of these hidden points behind the scene. Let's call them ARX cents, just for fun. And when you have enough ARX cents, well, you get one ARC. At least you will when you then log out to the main menu. Then you'll be rewarded with the ARX that you have collected. So you're sitting and you're collecting points as you play. But that means, because if that's the way they've done it, and I think it is, that means they would have to have gone into every single little aspect of Elite, every single transactions that you do. I'm using transaction in lack of better words. But every single action that you take in Elite, they would have to have gone in and implemented this little point increase. So whenever a limpet returns to your ship, it should increase your hidden ARX conto behind the scenes, or ARX account behind the scenes, until you have the acquired them to get an ARC. And if one of those, that's a lot of places, if one of those places have been wrongly implemented, then that's how you get that Blackadder bug, where whenever a collector limpet returns, well, in some cases, it would crash you right back to the main menu. It seems to be quite a common bug. It happens a lot. So that would explain how so many different aspects of Elite are suddenly getting broken because of something that seems to be completely unrelated to it. And that's why I think it probably would have been a better option to have gone with a time-based reward system, where you're rewarded by the time. The problem with this system that they've implemented now that it is transaction-based is what they have now created is a whole lot of work from themselves. First of all, it will be impossible to balance. There will, and I promise you, there will be ARC rushes. It will be a thing. Mark my word. It's not going to be long before we begin. I've already seen some people post around ways you could collect up to 10 ARCs a minute or something. So they already started. The ARC rushes are real, and they will come, and they will be a thing in Elite. as long as they keep this action or transaction based approach to rewarding players with ARX. Because as long as it's dependent on a single action in the game, players will always try to find a way to figure out which actions can I repeat the fastest so that I get as many possible ARC points or ARCs per minute. And that means once players find that out, well, players be players. We've seen it with credits. It's been that for years. Players be players. They will do that until they have reached the limit, which also seems to be broken, but that's beside the point for this video. They will do that, and they will just begin to farm ARCs like that. And what will most likely happen is that then Frontier will go in and they will then retweak how many of these secret points you get behind the scene or how effective that specific method is for collecting ARCs. But that just means then suddenly there's another method that is the most efficient way to get ARCs. Then players will go and they will do that to get their ARCs. And it will just be a never-ending battle between players finding the most efficient way to collect the points, or collect ARCs, and Frontier trying to balance it out. And it is impossible to balance. We've seen it with credits and missions and mining now for years, pretty much since the launch. Players would find the most effective way to collect credits in the game, and they would just do that repeatedly over and over and over again because it's the faster way to get money. Then Frontier would try to balance things out, and then when they balance things out, something else is then suddenly the fastest way, then we'll go and do that. And that will happen all the time. So as I said, ARC rushes is most definitely going to be a thing. But just to be absolutely clear, I'm not blaming Frontier for not being able to balance this out, because it's an impossible task. It can't be done. You can't get a perfect balance between so many different aspects in Elite where there's not going to be somewhere someone finds a way to exploit it and get a ton of ARCs in no time, or at least get up to the limit in no time when that thing is working. But if they instead have gone for a time-based, which I initially thought they actually had with 1 ARC per minute, which I thought seems pretty fair. It's around 6 hours and 40 minutes of game time per week, which is, well, you have to be active, but again, you want to reward players for being active, right? So that seems to have been a lot more easy way to manage, because it would be a standalone system. You just have a clock that counts up, and when you log out or when you close the game, it just looks, okay, so how much time have you been online, or how much time has gone since you logged in to when you logged out, and then take that time period and then figure out how many ARCs the person is going to get. Then there's the issue with AFKing. Well, if people are going to go and, let's say they are flying to hot orbital, they are not really touching the joystick, or they're just away from the computer for I don't know how long, or they're just sitting in a station or just floating somewhere in space. People just log off during the night, and when they woke up the next morning, they would have reached their weekly limit, so they just do that once a week. There could be easy ways around it, like you would be forced to, like your counter would stop if you didn't have given a controller input in the last 5 minutes or something like that. So if you haven't touched any of your controls for 5 minutes, then you will be, and your counter will stop, right? I mean, they already have this kind of thing. I mean, I think if you go AFK in a station for long enough, you will be sent out to the main menu for being AFK. I don't remember how long the timer is, but it's quite long, I think. If it's still there, I'm not even sure. I haven't encountered it for years. But at least it was there at some point. So at least that kind of system has been implemented into Elite before. Now, and then of course the natural next argument would then be, well, people are just going to set up small like macros behind the scenes that just send a small controller input like every minute to the game to prevent them from being AFK. And you're absolutely right. There will be some players who would do that, but frankly at that point you're already breaking the end user license agreement by using external scripts to play the game. So I guess, I mean, yeah, if people want to break their EULA and potentially get, well, then Frontier's in their full-on right to just take away those ARCs if they discover something like that. But again, people would have to go out of their way and specifically break the EULA in order to omit the system of AFKing and well, the timer being disabled in AFK mode. So I think that would have been a easier solution to implement. It would have been a smoother experience because you wouldn't have to go in and touch every little single aspect of Elite whenever you do anything. Basically, they've been in and fiddling with that part of the game. So that's how I think that ARX ended up pretty much breaking Elite. Now I should say that this is recorded fairly shortly after the patch went live, so I don't know how quickly Frontier is going to fix this, but I hope it's going to be quick, because at the game is right now, there are multiple aspects of the game that is completely unplayable at the moment. But do let me know in the comment section below what you think. Do you think I'm right? Do you have your own theory? feel free to join the discussion down there. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you want more Elite Dangerous news, and until next time, I'll see you guys in space.